Mark. Today we're going to be showing you how to make your own cajon using this Meinl make your own cajon kit. Let's crack straight on.
Okay, so I've laid out everything you get in the box on the table here. You will also need some wood glue, some heavy weights, a damp cloth, some sandpaper, a pencil and a tape measure, and a drill. Okay, so I'm going to come and get the two end panels, which will form the bottom and the top, and the two side panels. Okay, now stick one of the bottom or top panels down, and we're going to get the wood glue and run a generous bead along the routed edge, and then get the side panel and slot it in. It is quite a tight fit. You might have to sort of wiggle it and push it in there and check that it's all nicely flush fitting at the sides, and then we'll repeat the same on the other side. Just pops it in there. Okay, for the top, the same process, apart from I'm just running the glue along the actual side panels because it's a bit easier. Fit that all together, check that it's lined up, and then get your damp cloth and just wipe any of that excess glue off. Right, so in the instructions it does tell you to now get some belt clamps and wrap them around it and put some tension on, but I mean, I personally don't have any, so the amp and the free weights on top worked absolutely perfectly for me. Put enough pressure on to squeeze out all the glue and get a nice snug fit. Okay, so I left that for a couple of hours to dry. Just take the weights and the amp off, and it's back now for the 4 battens. It's too short, too long, and basically here I'm just checking that they all fit around. The idea is just to frame the inside round, and this is going to eventually give you your basis to screw the actual sort of batter side of the cajon into, and that all fits lovely. Now again, if you had lots of clamps lying around, you could actually flip the thing onto its back, stick all 4 battens on at the same time and clamp them together, but again, I don't have lots of clamps, so it's a little bit more time consuming. We're just going to have to do one at a time. So start with the bottom one, nice bead of glue, pop it down there, and just grab these 2 just to check that I've got space for them to go in once this goes off. This glue is really strong. I actually got extra strong quick drying glue to make things a little bit easier, and in between each of these, so I've glued the battens, put the weights on. I only left it sort of about 25 minutes, then pulled them off, then flipped it over on its side and moved on to the next one. That in place, weights on again, and then weighted again, and just repeated and repeated. So I mean, this adds probably, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours onto the build time as opposed to having clamps, but it does save you a few quid. Right, that's it. So now it's time to just sand down both sides, because you want a really nice flush fit between your sides and your batter. Right, so now I'm just going to grab the little triangle of ply and the snare wires. Okay, so we've got this little triangle piece here, and we need to attach the snare to this. So I'm just going to hold it in place and mark 2 little holes, where in a second we're going to drill some pilot holes. If you were really skillful, if you had 4 hands maybe, you might just be able to drive the screw straight into this, but you know, better to be safe. We've marked the holes, we drill 2, we've got a 3mm drill piece, and we're literally just drilling a tiny little holes just to help us get the screws started. Again, this is quite tricky. You've got to hold the snare in place, get the screw in there, and get it in. not advise using a screwdriver like this because you're asking to have it in your hand, but there you go. So that's done and attached. So now I'm just going to run a couple of nice generous beads of glue along, and this fits in just behind the batten, so on the base and between the batten. I'm putting it on the bottom, but this is in fact actually the top of the con. So once the glue's dried, the whole thing will be flipped up and the Meinl logo will go at the opposite end to where this snare is. You can see it there, it's dried. Okay, so just checking that we've got a nice flush fit, ready for our glue. Nice generous bead of glue all around the edge. The back side of the con doesn't have any battens, it is purely being held on by glue on that quite small little lip there. And we'll just pop that on, make sure you get it all lined up. These panels are a little bit bigger than the actual body, so you have to just make sure you get a nice even overlap, and you get rid of that with sanding at the end. Okay, now some more weights. I'm using a few boards here just to try and spread the weight as evenly as possible. And there we go. I left that for around 2 hours to dry that part. There we go, it's looking good. Now we've just got to go and get our front backside panel, which is the thinner of the two, with the logo, and the little bag of screws. Right, I'm now marking out where the drill holes are going to go. The con does come with a instruction booklet that has all the exact measurements in it. If you don't have that, I'll post a link down below, and you can find them on there. We just pretty much work around the edge with a straight line, and that's what it should look something like that when done. Now we're just going to drill pilot holes, 3mm drill bit again. Now we need to countersink to get our screws to fit nice and flushly. You can see the screw there with the countersink. You just kind of have to use your eye and just apply the right amount of pressure just to get that screw head to fit in there nicely. Okay, now we've got it on. Snare wire at the top and the Meinl logo at the bottom. Again, this will overlap slightly, so you just want to get that evened up so that you've got a nice even overlap all the way around, and you'll get that flush when you sand it at the end. Let's get these screws in. Kind of working, a bit like tuning a snare drum. I'm sort of working around the edge. Get a nice even tension. There we go. Now it's for the feet. The instructions are a bit iffy on this. All they tell you is, I think it needs to be 25mm in from the front and the back. So I just got one of the feet, put it on there where it looked pretty happy, measured it in, and it's then 20mm in there. And then we'll just go round and mark 20mm in for each four. And now we can use the small 4 brass screws you get, and the rubber feet. I'm going to make sure you have your drill on a low torque setting, or just use a hand drill here, because the rubber feet, if you give it too much, they will just pull straight through. And that is pretty much it. Now it's all down to how long you want to spend sanding it. I did spend quite a while to get the edges really flush. You can kind of round the corners at the top, but yeah, just sand and sand and sand and just keep sanding, and you will get a quality finish in the end. And my daughter's having a little go now. I'm getting her a drink. And there we go.
Right, thanks for watching, guys. I hope that video helped you out in putting your kit together. It goes together really nicely. All the panels are routed out beautifully and it does slot together nice. I really enjoyed building this. If I missed anything whatsoever, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. Cheers, man.